Hi everyone. I decided to do a video for my final assignment in foundations, and I just wanted to show you some of the stuff I am starting out with. For the art piece, I will be doing 13 10 by 10 moon paintings in representing the moons that the moon teachings that we received, as well as moon teachings that I received in the community, as well as moon teachings from Grandma Pauline. I have some of the equipment here and you can take a look. I have my laptop, which has a lot of my notes and things. I have my canvases, all the paints I'm going to be using, as well as my paintbrushes and these fancy pens. I am very excited. This is normally my beading desk. It is now going to be my painting desk. I have a lot of work to do, but I am very excited. Hey, good afternoon. I am finally finished the paintings. I just did a smudge, and I'm really grateful to be talking to you and sharing my process of learning about Indigenous education and foundations. The paintings took the majority of the work, so I want to show you those first. I can't really flip the cameras, so I will stop the video now and then I'll flip it and then you'll have a chance to see. Let's take a look. I just took a little time to do a smudge, start this presentation off right, and I want to start it off here at the maple sugar moon, the maple water moon, and then go down to the suckerfish moon, the flower moon, strawberry moon, raspberry moon, wild rice moon, corn moon, falling leaves moon. This is the freezing up moon. And then there's the great spirit moons, and you'll see there's an extra moon up there, and that is where the 13th moon comes into play. I spoke to one of my elders about this, and I said, where do you think that moon goes? And I've heard a few things, like sometimes it comes in the summer. She mentioned sometimes it comes in the winter as a blue moon. So I kind of felt like it fit in there nicely. But yeah, and then there's the bare moon. Beautiful. And this is the whole set. I'm really quite excited. I think I put a lot of work and effort into this, and I didn't know how it would turn out, but I love it. Well, I knew I would love it, but I didn't know I would love it this much. Feeling so grateful and connected to the moon. Welcome back. I want to share with you some of the things that I reflected on during the process of thinking about my Indigenous foundation and education. So I'm going to start off with talking about the questions that I answered from the email. Okay, so what more have you learned about your spirit, or what have you learned about in the spirit of Indigenous education, or in other words, the foundation of Indigenous education? Reflecting on what I've learned about my spirit, it made me think about the phrase that I heard in cultural teachings. It's a common phrase that I've heard a lot, but honestly, I do not remember exactly who I heard it from first. I do remember hearing it from Elder Jim Dumont when I first listened to him share the Anishinaabe creation story. For me personally, it holds a reminder of our spiritual connection to the sky world. The teaching goes something like, we are all spirits having a human experience. Reflecting on this helped me to understand that in our human experience, we have opportunities to heal our spirits. Those reflections, in conjunction with my role as an Indigenous educator supporting Indigenous students, helped me to understand the emotions that were coming up for me during my practicums. At times, I would feel overwhelmed with emotion. When I could see the students dealing with their traumas or sharing their stories of traumas, the water spirit would come to me. For me, our strength lies in community, and we need to come together to support one another in our recovery of intergenerational traumas that continue in our lives. The best way I've learned to do that is supporting my spirit in ceremony or by making stronger connections to the land, Mother Earth, and Grandmother Moon. I believe our traditions, culture, and ceremonial knowledges are the most relevant and powerful way of healing our community. Bonding with our ceremonies, the land, and our teachings is when we will be on the path of Minnow Bomatswin, living the good life. Being an Indigenous educator, I believe that sharing my knowledge of Indigenous ways of knowing and doing are the most essential actions I can take in supporting my students in cultivating their gifts, realizing their true potential, and healing their spirits. And that's what I believe truly lies at the foundation of Indigenous education. Most importantly, it's healing. And it's close to my heart, so I'm just like a little bit emotional. I'm going to take a little break and then I'll talk about the next question. Welcome back. Yeah, the water spirit was just there with me. Yeah, I guess this is writing about this stuff and talking about it is really emotional for me. Like, I guess it just proves its importance to me, and sorry that these videos are gonna be a bit tear-filled, but I guess I'm just growing and learning, and the ancestors are there with me, taking care of me. And I think that maybe this is why it was taking me so long to film this video. Okay, I'm ready. Thinking back to your first reflection paper in this course, how have your experiences over the years shaped your understanding of education, of who you are and who you want to be as an educator? When I think back to the start of the year and my reflection paper, it feels like so long ago. I had to go back and review what I had written. The 3 central ideas that I spoke to: relationships, cultivating our gifts, and acknowledging Indigenous knowledges, which, to be honest, I still feel are the concepts that empower my present work in community and education. As an Indigenous educator, I feel like we're different. We not only have the education that we receive through post-secondary institutions, but most importantly, we have the lived and cultural experiences that give us greater understanding of what students in our communities might be going through. During one of my practicum experiences, unfortunately, I was in a situation where an educator was being authoritarian and being a little bit too harsh, in my opinion. It was at that moment that I realized I needed to be there to support my students. As a caring adult that was standing by their side, checking in, letting them know that they're important, that their feelings are valid, and that they're not alone. I need to be that educator that students know they can trust to stand next to them and support them in any challenges they face. I was a bit nervous about starting my journey in Waban, going back to school as an adult, not being sure if I was smart enough. I learned in this course that I am smart enough, and more importantly, that standing up for community and making connections through relationship development are important elements in change in the long run. My presence, caring, and understanding, I am able to build relationships that make people feel honored and supported in their mission and understandings of themselves on their journey. I take my role as an Indigenous educator very seriously, not only in the present moment, but for future generations. I want my students to be able to look back on the time we spent together and realize I held them up, I honored their spirit, and I'll be in the community to continue to support them to the best of my ability. We are all connected through community, our spiritual practice, and our challenges, and that fact is something I overlooked growing up. It was only through my search for spiritual happiness did I make efforts to connect in the community and in ceremony, and at that moment I came to understand that the work all of my relatives did for me in the community to make my life better
And I have a responsibility to continue that work for growth and healing in our community. It's really important to me. Okay. Share at least one meaningful takeaway or key learning from this year. This could be something guest speakers shared by instruction or by peers or students you are working with. It could be a personal reflection or something you learned about yourself, or it could be a concept or a practice or an aha moment. Okay, I'm going to just explain a little bit about what meaningful learning you've had. To be honest, being in the WABAM program, I feel like my whole life has changed. Yeah, it makes me a lot emotional. In my paper, I wrote a little emotional. But I guess that's, again, the water spirit coming to be with me. My experience with the students and community at Miigwech has empowered my mission more than ever. I recently went to the school. I used to work at Kensington Community School. It felt so warm, and the staff and students were so kind and loving, and they expressed how much they miss me. It was nice. I know I have a strong connection to the land and people there. However, my feelings when I engage with students in the community at Miigwech are completely different. I feel as though I'm starting out on a mission to help in the healing of our community. I tend to feel like a young person having so many firsts, even at this stage in life. Being back at Miigwech has given me understanding of all my experience. Sometimes I look at the world as if I'm just a beginner. In some sense I am. Over this past year in the WABAM program, my transformational learning has been considerable. I have a great understanding of myself, how many gifts I hold, and how important it is for me to be in community, to express my knowledge and share my gifts with the students and community. I guess what I'm saying is I'm starting to realize my true self. Furthermore, I've been learning and experiencing the reciprocal relationship between my students, community, and myself, and in doing that, I'm able to somehow heal my childhood traumas. Yeah, sorry if this is emotional. I hope you're not crying watching this. What did it mean for you to learn in a way that fills up your spirit? What did you need to be supported in learning this way? What might you carry forward as you continue your work as an educator? For me to learn in a way that fills up my spirit, it is to look at learning in a holistic way, to honor the 4 directions. For me, that means honoring mind, body, spirit, and heart. I will carry compassion, understanding, kindness, and empowered belief into my teaching practice. Compassion as being aware of the traumas that continue in our communities and offering a safer space for learning where students can share emotions if they choose. Offer strategies to cope with challenges that may arise. In using kindness, I will do my best not to take inappropriate behaviors personally, just to continue to support my students and community. I've had to deal with not believing in myself at times. Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? When a leader believes in you, it makes all of the difference. And I want to be able to be the biggest cheerleader for my students and community. I want to build them up as much as I can so that they can never stop on their learning journey. Welcome back. On to the next question. Yeah, I was getting quite emotional and I needed some time outside. So yeah, let's continue on. This is the next question. What is something you found challenging this year and how did you adapt? What support or help did you adapt to what you faced from your challenges? Okay, so for me, what I found challenging so far was my second practicum. I found it very challenging. It was really, like, the students were great. The students were awesome. But it was really challenging to build relationship.
And so that really kind of hurt my spirit a little bit. But ways I adapted is I asked help from my colleagues from my other part of the Waban cohort. I also talked to my other mentors and other professionals in the program. As I said earlier, our strength as Indigenous people lies in community with our elders, knowledge keepers, our connection to the land, and in ceremony. I honestly do not know what I would if I would have got through the situation without community. I was able to put my mission ahead of my worries, refocus my energies on supporting the students, and by making a conscious effort to get out on the land a few times a week to pray, put my asema down, my tobacco down, and honor my spirit by believing in myself. I don't know. I just like to think Papamachukwe is like this magical place where everything is beautiful. But there are challenges, and the best way I found to deal with those challenges were to connect in community and to honor my spirit, honor my knowledge that I have in connection with the land, in connection with ceremony, and that was really what made me feel like I can do it. I could keep going. And of course, Marianne, thank you for your support. It means everything. When you came into the class, like, I don't know if I had a chance to tell you this, but when you came into the class that day, I don't know, I instantly got a feeling of safety, and it was like really powerful for me. So thank you for being there for me, Miigwech. Okay, on to the next question. Going forward, what are your learning goals? What do you want to learn more about for your own spirit? What do you want to learn more about to be able to support the spirits of others through teachings? What steps can you take to get closer towards your learning goals? Okay, so for a while now, I've wanted to learn more about how to facilitate a full moon ceremony and a sunrise ceremony. While I was deciding on what to do for the creative aspect of my assignment, I decided to take the leap and ask one of my favorite knowledge keepers, grandmothers, Vivian Recollet, if she would take me under her direction and start to share more teachings with me in regards to my goal of learning more about the 13 moon cycles and how to facilitate full moon ceremony. We had a good talk. She decided that she would help me over Zoom for the time being. And once the weather gets warmer, we're gonna do more ceremonies in person. We'll work together when I'm able to meet her in person. And I'll follow up with the proper protocols of offering a sema and maybe a handmade gift for, the knowledge and wisdom that she's going to share with me. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited because I feel like my moon paintings are a way, like, if I have my own classroom or if I get a long-term occasional position, I want to be able to bring these moon paintings in, follow along with Grandma Pauline and Luana's curriculum, and use these moon paintings as inspiration and as tools for learning for the students to look at something visual, and then talk about the teaching surrounding each moon. Okay, so yeah, getting on to what I am grateful for. I'm also grateful and honored that Grandma Pauline's shirt had re-entered my life during this past year. She knew me like since I was basically a baby. Her and my mom used to be good friends. But I hadn't, I'd seen her around in community, but we didn't have a strong relationship. And so I'm really happy that we're getting closer. So initially, I think it was in November, she asked me to be her helper for the some of the Truth and Reconciliation days at Nathan Phillips Square. And I was then, and I continue now to be completely honored and humbled by the invitation. And I just was feeling so grateful to have the opportunity to create a stronger relationship with her, because she is so knowledgeable, so caring. I look up to her so much.
she's just amazing, and I just felt like I won the lottery or something to be in a space where I could, talk to her and connect with her and just be with her. Like, I didn't want to ask too many questions about ceremonies and things like that. I just wanted to feel like her essence and create that bond and relationship. So that was one of the biggest things. And she's so humble and caring, and so I really feel gratitude towards that. So it's been like a complete privilege to kind of reconnect with her. And it also gave me the confidence that I feel like my ancestors are looking after me. I know that might sound silly, but I just feel like I'm really on my right path. When she calls me, when she checks in on me and says, how is it going? How are the kids at the school? Like, I feel like she really cares about me, and I feel like I want to bring that forward to the students. And she always does say, tell the students I want to know how they're doing, and tell me how they're doing. So I'm really happy about that. And so in building that relationship, even at that event, at the TRC event, which was back in November, before I had a big chance to connect with the school and have the PD where she offered the curriculum for everyone, she showed me the curriculum, and it was just so exciting to be able to see what she and her daughter Luana had been working on. And so it was really exciting. And she worked on it for the staff at Miigwech who may not have strong connections to knowing all of the 13 moons and how to connect that to the curriculum. So it was really powerful for her to share that with me and, tell me I could use it and tell me to empower my lessons through those teachings. And it was, yeah, I just feel like she's really taking care of me. And yeah, that's really special. And for my creative paintings, I worked off the document that she shared with me, and I created these paintings, which really makes me happy. And I made a TikTok video, which I'm going to put in at the end of this, and I shared it with Luana, and she loved it, and she was like, "This is so brilliant." And when I get time to go to Grandma Pauline's house, which I will soon, but my car's in the shop right now, I'm going to share it with her too, but I know she'll love it. So that's something I'm really excited about. Okay. And then this is specifically for the creative work. What does it feel like to fill up your spirit? What is spirit-based learning for you? For me, spirit-based learning is connecting to the land and ceremony, which ultimately is honoring the land and honoring our original Mother Earth and Grandmother Moon. For me, it took my whole life this far, 43 years, to cultivate these connections. As you know, almost all Indigenous people have lack of access to traditions and knowledge, and it's really hard to get that, you know what I mean? And for me, when I'm in ceremony, when I'm connecting with the land, that is what fills up my spirit. Today I was real emotional when I started these videos, and then I went out on the land and I took a big hike. I went to Mount Nemo, just I guess off Guelph line, and I was just outside, and I was just took this big 2-hour hike. And it was just really great to be in the sunshine and to be around the trees. It was that is what fills up my spirit, and that is what rejuvenates me and makes me feel like I can do these things, right? And furthermore, also not just being on the land, but being in ceremony. When I'm in ceremony, usually, it's with community. We're making connections. We're connecting with other people that are like-minded. And that is really powerful because they also support us on our spiritual journeys. And they're honoring themselves, and we're coming together in a good way. And I feel like that is, that's really powerful and important. And, you just, whenever you leave a ceremony, you always feel amazing. So
Yeah, so that is what fills up my spirit, is being in ceremony, being on the land. And, like I really want to be able to do that with the students. And, when I did my dance performance, we went outside to do it, and it was really great. And my dad was waiting for us in the parking lot. I'm not sure if I shared the story with you yet, but he was waiting in the parking lot to take me home and drive me home. And he said, "Did you see all those birds? Did you see all those birds watching you?" And he said there was two huge birds watching you guys do the dance out there. And I was just like, it just gave me goosebumps, like to be working with the students about like, curriculum that's important to me, teaching the students Indigenous dance, creating our own dances, listening to powwow music out in the sunshine. And then there's these great beings that come down and watch us, and they know that we're doing a good job. So yeah, that's really powerful. Yeah, and the last question is, how can we activate creativity in our work as educators? For me, this is, not hard, because I love to be creative. Like just taking these paintings or into beadwork, or I didn't even think I would be a good dance teacher, but I just turned out I loved it. And the kids were, for the most part, loved it too. They really got into it. So I feel like almost in everything we could do, we can be creative. And I feel like students really value that, because it kind of like gets them out of their head of like, I have to write everything down. I have to do this. But like when you can actually create, like that kind of activates the inquiry too. Like, what can I do? How can I create something? And I feel like when you have opportunities to create, you're going to like learn how to problem solve. You're going to learn how to make things beautiful. And those are like really good skills in the long run. Miigwech. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the paintings. For me, the paintings represent kind of like stages in the year. Like obviously, the sugar moon, the suckerfish moon, these are stages in the year when things are changing. The flower moon, the berry moon, the wild rice moon. These were indicators to Anishinaabe people that, time's changing, time to grow things, or time to fish, or time to like harvest. And that all connected to our way of sustaining life, right? So, and how to kind of take lessons from the animals, take lessons from the environment, take lessons from Grandmother Moon, obviously, and Mother Earth, and how, she's changing, and how we can adapt our lives for the better within these changes. So yeah, that is one main reason why I absolutely love the 13 Moons teachings, is because they teach us how to live, how to connect with the land, how to honor ourselves, Mother Earth, and Grandmother Moon. Miigwech.